Hey guys, have you been watching the House floor today? Probably not if you have lives and you're not, hooked on politics. And a lot of us have kind of turned off. But today is the day when the new Congress gets sworn in, and we had the election for Speaker of the House. So, of course, the Democrats put forward Hakeem Jeffries, and Republicans, well, they had a little bit of a problem. Mike Johnson didn't have an easy time. It wasn't as bad as it was with Kevin McCarthy, but still, Mike Johnson was the pick of Donald Trump. And with this really, really historically slim House majority that we've talked about before, um, he really couldn't afford to lose votes. And I'm looking at this stuff, just trying to make sure that we are able to exploit and take advantage of every weekend of these extremist MAGA Republicans that are now, running our country, in control of our Congress. So we have to stay on top of it. I'm not trying to say that this is great, big, fabulous news and a win, but there are some helpful hints, and it's important to keep on top of it. So Hakeem Jeffries got 215 votes. Mike Johnson did not win on the first ballot because he lost 3 Republicans. Remember, this is the pick of Donald Trump, but there were 3 actually hardcore MAGA Republicans that decided to vote against Speaker Johnson. So Trump gets on the phone with 2 of them because the third one was just a lost cause. Let's see, the 2 he got on the phone with was Ralph Norman and Keith Self, and they just left Tom Massie alone because apparently he was completely immovable. So Trump, who himself is suffering under one of the smallest victories in the history of presidential elections of this entire country, no landslide. His margin keeps shrinking when they get to these final counts. So that in any other time means a weak president. The very slim House majority means a very weak House majority. When you've got the pick of the incoming president who cannot win on the first ballot, that is weak. I think it's important that we ensure that we exploit these weaknesses. If you've ever read the book Art of War, it comes in handy right now. I actually have a copy, and it comes in very handy in politics, and I suppose in life. So we've got this very slim House majority. It took Speaker Johnson 2 ballots to win. And there were still, he wins by 218, which is the threshold you need. That's exactly what it takes to need. He didn't get one more vote additional to what it takes to become speaker. Massie was the holdout forever. So let's just keep that in mind. I'm not sure how we use it, but it's important to understand that there's going to be a lot of things that this MAGA Republican House wants to do that they simply can't do unless all of them vote together. They need literally, I guess, all of them. They can afford to lose, it looks like, only one, forever and ever. Well, not forever and ever, because Matt Gaetz has resigned. He got elected to this Congress, says he's not going to serve. That was announced on the House floor. Everybody cheered. And in the chamber, not just people at home, everybody in that House chamber, they were cheering. And this was all on TV. So that tells you how the esteem that they hold Matt Gaetz, who was Trump's pick to be AG. So, the whole thing is a you-know-what show. So now we've got Speaker Johnson, who wins with 218. He lost 1. Jeffries gets 215. And so looking forward, how can this House get anything done without the help of Democrats? Now, I don't think Democrats should just step up and help. I think the action is now going to be in the House of Representatives. We already have Trump, before he even gets into office, he and Elon Musk threatening to primary Republicans who don't give him his way on everything. So he's already, doesn't have a real strong, loving team there, does he? When you can only rule by threats and intimidation, you're starting out in the wrong foot. So when you look at that, you already know that they are weak. They are weak, very slim majority, and they are weak. Spending bills, by the way, start in the House. So I think Democrats have a lot to work with here. Not a slam dunk, but watch the House of Representatives for the next couple of years, because I really think that's where the resistance is going to have the best luck, the most opportunity. And this means that you're going to have to constantly be communicating with your Republican representatives. I know, hold your nose. We've talked about this before, but they have to hear from you. And they're not just going to write you off as a resistor when you call or write their office. They aren't even going to check your voting your voting registration. And they do have to be careful. They have to represent everybody anyway. Make noise back home. Write letters to the editor to your newspaper. Call in to the radio shows. This is what we can do this free. This is what regular citizens can do. People who don't have power or the big PAC money or write the big checks, use your big mouth. I've been doing it my whole life. Sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. But this is where the action is. So be in close contact with your House of Representatives and your senators. I actually think that if you have a Democratic member of the House of Representatives, if your congressman, congresswoman is a Democrat, still be in touch with them. But I think if you live in a congressional district where you are represented in the House of Representatives by a Republican, I think that you need to be their biggest pen pal. Go to the town halls and speak up. Let them know what you want them to do. Complain. Don't even announce that you're a resistor, that you didn't vote for them. You're a citizen. They represent you. You pay their salary. And again, I don't think, when these guys got to come up for re-election, they need to pay attention to the voters back home more than Trump. Now, we saw this with the debt ceiling. 170 of them defied Trump, even though he was out there threatening them, and Elon Musk was threatening them, and they defied him anyway. And one of these House members said to a reporter, I think anonymously, he said, what's he going to primary 170 of us? Remember that. And let's keep talking about that. And I hope you guys will send me tips and examples and anecdotes where you think that you might have had an impact, or somebody in your community might have had an impact. But I think it's really super important now that we be in close contact with them. I'm kind of tuned out on cable news. I know a lot of us are tuned out necessarily for our mental health since the election. But I think if we're focused, and I think that if we understand that we're not just spitting into the wind, or screaming into the abyss, that we can actually do something that has impact and meaning, especially over time. I think that helps keeps us energized, keeps us engaged. We have to have a different pace right now, but I'm watching this today on the House floor. In fact, I've got the TV on right now, and I'm seeing the slim majority. I'm seeing the drama and the theatrics, and I'm looking at that number: 218 for Johnson, 215 for Hakeem Jeffries, 1 vote for other. And I'm remembering a few weeks ago with that debt ceiling situation, Trump just publicly threatening his own Republican members of Congress, threatening them, he and Elon Musk, the arrogance, the hubris of this. So I don't think that Trump is going to suddenly stop being arrogant, and we're not going to get smarter. Elon Musk, as we know, is an absolute idiot. So let's keep watching this. Let's find that little pinprick of light where we can weigh in. So the House of Representatives votes on thousands of bills every year, every Congress. Some of them we never hear about, and some of them are just riders on things. They're not partisan. Some of them might be parochial for someone's state and for their congressional district. But we will hear about, and we will know about the big ones where there's a partisan divide, the things that matter, where we're being basically screwed by Republicans. And that is where we can have an impact. Again, it seems counterintuitive to want to keep in touch with your Republican elected members of Congress, your Republican elected officials, more than your Democrat elected officials. But let's do it. And then afterwards, just, go take a shower and go have a drink. But know that you've done something good. So eventually we're going to figure this out. We will have a strategy. That's who I am. I'm a strategist. Also, somebody contacted me and said that sometimes in these videos I sound like a professor. I don't know whether to apologize for that or not, but by way of context, I was adjunct professor at George Washington University Graduate School of Political Management and master's program for 5 years. And the class I taught was political communication strategy. So I guess a lot of that is coming through because that's what we're doing now. We all have to be strategists, and we have to operate in a way that's different than how we operated before. We're smarter. We're dealing with different information. We're not going to let ourselves be fooled. And again, sometimes we have to do the hard thing. And I guess in this case, the hard thing might be keeping in touch with your Republican members of Congress. But again, they got a real slim majority. So let's exploit that as much as possible. Thanks.